Thomas Patrick Ward, tuning in the Sport and Icons.
So reports are circulating that IBF featherweight world champion Josh Warrington has just vacated his IBF world title. Now we know that he's going to be taking on Mauricio Lara next. Now Mauricio Lara, he's not even ranked in the top 15 of the IBF. So that was an eyebrow raiser in itself. And of course we know that Josh Warrington, he wants to fight Can Xu in what he would consider a unification. Can Xu is a WBA regular world champion. The full champion, super champion, is currently Leo Santa Cruz. Yes, he got knocked out by Gervonta Davis, but that was at super featherweight. But at featherweight, he's still the WBA world champion. Can Xu is the regular champion. Now, apparently, again, according to reports, him vacating this belt, there's a very good chance we could see Kid Galahad, who of course is the mandatory, take on in a rematch with Jazza Dickens. So that's an interesting fight in itself, okay? But that aside, why is Josh Warrington vacating that belt? Makes no sense to me whatsoever. Okay, so he wants to fight Can Xu. Okay, so why doesn't Can Xu vacate the WBA regular title? Because all Josh Warrington is going to do, because he wants to go fight this Mauricio Lara, beat him, which of course we're going to presume that he will, then he wants to go fight Can Xu. Okay, why Can Xu in particular? He's a regular champion. So if he beats Can Xu after vacating his IBF title, guess what he's going to become? WBA regular world champion. The super champion is still going to beat Leo Santa Cruz. And if then he wants to go fight, say, Gary Russell Jr., WBC champion, or Emmanuel Navarrete, WBO champion, guess what's going to happen? It's not going to be a unification. It's not. The only way Josh Warrington could have a unification is if he's still the IBF champion currently. So you vacated it. It's like cutting your own nose off to spite your face. It's like having the British title, vacating that, and then going to fight for the area title. It's taking a step back. Who's advising Josh Warrington? I don't understand this. Is he doing this because he's going to be ordered to fight Kid Galahad and he doesn't want to fight Kid Galahad again? Okay, a lot of people felt that Kid Galahad won that fight and Josh Warrington got a gift decision because it was on a Frank Warren show at the time. Because Josh Warrington was with Frank Warren, now he's with Matchroom. Maybe that's the reason. Maybe he doesn't like Kid Galahad, doesn't want to give him a payday. Whatever it may be, it's madness. Absolute madness. The only way that we could possibly look at this, and I don't like saying this because I'm a huge Josh Warrington fan, but if that's the case, he's ducking Kid Galahad. He knows that he got a gift decision. If it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. And that's exactly what it looks like, that he's ducking Kid Galahad. And then using this whole, well, the IBF, they won't sanction me to fight Can Xu because they won't consider it a unification. Well, of course they won't. It's like Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, them two fighting for all the belts that they've currently got. Well, it's not really for undisputed because you've still got Manuel Charr, who is a WBA regular champion. The winner's going to have to go fight Manuel Charr. Then that will be undisputed. Ain't nobody saying that, much like nobody should be saying Josh Warrington versus Can Xu would be a unification. It's not a unification. It's not. It's effectively an interim title. That's how it is nowadays. So you're going to vacate your belt because you want to fight Can Xu. I think it's more that he doesn't want to fight Kid Galahad. Honestly. He says, okay, now apparently this is the plan. He's going to fight Mauricio Lara. Then he wants to go fight Can Xu. Then he wants to go fight Gary Russell Jr. Well, he can't fight Gary Russell Jr. if he's got WBA regular belt. So again, it's not going to be a unification. It's the WBA regular belt that's the problem. Why would you vacate your world title to go fight for a lesser belt that you can't unify with? Why would you not want to go to the negotiating table with Gary Russell Jr. as champion? Because at least as RBF champion, he can go to Gary Russell Jr. and say, yo, unification, you've got one belt, I've got one belt, 50-50 split, let's do it. He can say the same thing with Emmanuel Navarrete, with Leo Santa Cruz. He can say the same thing because he's got a world title. Vacating the belt makes you the B-side in the negotiations. They also don't have to fight you because you're not their mandatory. There's no pressure to fight you. But if you've got another belt, all champions should want to unify, right? It's a mad move. Who on earth has advised Josh Warrington to vacate his belt? Britain now has a world champion less now because he's been advised to vacate the belt because he thinks it's a good idea. Vacate the IBF featherweight world title because he wants to go fight Kanzu. It's madness. It doesn't matter how you look at it, it's madness. Either he's been given terrible advice or he doesn't fancy the Kid Galahad fight. Okay, sure, he wants to go fight Kanzu. Okay, we'll go fight Kid Galahad and then fight Kanzu. For me, he doesn't want to fight Kid Galahad. Doesn't matter how you look at it, he don't want to fight him. That disappoints me. Really does disappoint me. Anyway, what can you do? It's his decision. At the end of the day, if he wants to vacate his belt for any reason in the world, he's perfectly entitled to do so. But don't be shouting and screaming if you do fight Kanzu and you beat Kanzu and then you become WBA regular champion that people aren't calling you a world champion because you're not a world champion. Don't be shouting and screaming at Gary Russell Jr. or Emmanuel Neverate or potentially the winner of Kid Galahad and Jazza Dickens. They won't fight you because it's not a unification. Well, it's not a unification because you'll be WBA regular champion. Not full champion like you currently are. So just give up the world title to go fight for a lesser belt. Well done, Josh. Well done. Drop your thoughts below. Click thumbs up. Subscribe. Catch you all in the next video.